Hello, my name is Jack Gray. I'll be doing a really quick overview of my scouting system for the 2015 FRC season. It's This video is just going to be over kind of about the install process, what you need, and it will also be over the database system, which is really simple. It sounds complicated. It's just a series of text files and folders. But yeah, so what you'll need to install. So starting off, if you already have it, you're good, but if you don't, you'll need to download Microsoft .NET Framework 4, also known as .NET 4.0. It's really simple. Just download it and run it, and there's instructions. It's anyone who's ever installed a program before is familiar with it, how these things run. So yeah, that's independent of the processor type, so don't worry about that. Next off, you'll need SlimDX. So SlimDX is what my program uses to get input from the controllers from. It can do a lot of other things too, but this is what I use it for. Those of you will just all of you will need to download the end user runtime right here. Download the 32-bit x86 version of 4.0.NET. Make sure this is because my program runs in 32-bit. If you want to download and install 64-bit, be my guest. It might help with bugs later on, but I don't think there's any real advantage to it. Those of you who will be messing with the code and running it from source will need to install the developer SDK. This is independent of processor type, so it doesn't matter 32-bit, 64, it'll do both, I think. Yeah, so other than my program, that should be about it for install software-wise. You'll need other little prerequisites hardware-wise would be you'll need 6 controllers, 6 like gamepad controllers. I'd recommend you use the same ones as we do, which are these little Afterglow ones. You can find them on Amazon, no biggie, but it's not really that big of a deal if you use other ones. The only reason I say you should is because the button mapping might be different. So that diagram I released may not be entirely accurate. You may to get it correct, you might need to play with the source, the code, and such. But yeah, it's no big deal there. Again, a really obvious thing. I'd recommend you, well, not really again, but I'd recommend you bring a laptop, run the program on a laptop, because a desktop is kind of not really built to be carried around everywhere. There's not many power outlets at these events, so yeah, have fun bringing a desktop if you want to. In addition to having a laptop, you're going to need USB ports, like hubs, because you have 6 USB gamepads attached, and that's going to be, I don't think very many laptops have that many USB ports, so that's something to keep in mind. That should be about it for hardware. Hardware and software. So yeah, well, that should be about it for install in general. Moving on. So, like I said earlier, we're going to be covering the database, how the database works for this. So, I'd recommend you make a little data folder where you store all the data on all the events, just so keeps things clean and tidy. Inside of that database folder, you'll have probably a folder for each event you go to. I named this folder Practice because I was messing around with stuff and practicing with the scouters, so it's called Practice. I'd name it after the event you're going to. Yeah. Inside of that, you're going to have 3 little things: a little teams folder, a labels, and a schedule file. Labels, well, actually, teams is where all the data on all the teams is stored. They're just stored in little text documents. As you can see, they're just named after the team, really simple. Inside of it, you'll notice they have all these magical data. Um, that you'll only really get into if you're messing with the code, but um, overall it's fairly readable. If you just need to, if the reader stops working and you need to look at the code, just not really the code, but just look straight at the raw data. You can. So yeah. Um, inside the rest. Okay, so back up a folder. We're back in the regional or event folder. So labels and schedule. Labels just stores the labels of the data types. That'll make, if you've seen the video on the actual scouting system, you'll kind of know what that means. It just stores the last used data points you were wanted to take, I guess. Yeah. Schedule is pretty much what it sounds like. It stores a schedule. You'll be making this file with the schedule builder program, one of the 3 programs. Yeah, it just you. I'll eventually incorporate the Blue Alliance into the schedule builder, but that hasn't happened yet, and I'm running out of time. uh, you know, you know how these things go. You're in first. Um, but yeah, that's about all for the folder overview and install. So yeah, have fun at your regionals. Good luck. Yeah.